is the Transformers Studio Series from the movie Rise of the Beasts, Voyager class Rhinox. Man, the figure looks pretty cool. I mean, it's got great details, pretty amazing articulation and transformation. But somehow, I think it's a little underwhelming for some reason. Let's take a closer look at the details of this new Studio Series Rhinox. Head to toe, the figure stands at about 17 centimeters tall, or about 6 3/4 inches tall. For comparisons, here he is with fellow Maximals. We've got the Studio Series Airazor and Studio Series Cheetor, as well as the mainline Rise of the Beasts Optimus Prime. Here he is with the Studio Series Autobots from Rise of the Beasts. We've got the Voyager class Optimus Prime, Deluxe class Bumblebee, as well as the Core class RC. And here he is with a couple of Rhinox figures. We've got the Kingdom Voyager class Rhinox, as well as the mainline Rise of the Beasts Voyager class Rhinox. Now, I'm going to say a few things about these two figures, the mainline versus the now Studio Series figure. Looking at them side by side, I was completely expecting this one to be overly superior to the mainline figure, but I think he's still superior, but I think he's just a notch superior over this one. This one's a little bit more solid. Transformation on this one's actually a lot more fun than this one, but obviously he's more accurate. This one is more like a concept, but they're both goofy looking. And in terms of plastic quality, equally the same. His alt mode looks more like a Rhino. This one looks more like a Minecraft animal or brick. So if you're going to spend money on a Rhinox figure from the movie, this is obviously the choice. But if you already have this figure, don't be so quick to sell your old mainline figure once you've gotten the Studio Series figure, because remember, the mainline figure has these awesome guns that could actually be used for, well, sort of used for this figure, and at the same time you could also use it for this figure, albeit it takes a little bit of effort for him to hold it. There we go. I mean, it's not perfect, but he can hold it. So the old mainline Rhinox figure still has some merit to it, despite being inferior to the new Studio Series figure. So this Studio Series figure comes with one weapon, his mallet, or his Mjolnir. It's a really nice, really well sculpted hammer or mallet. I just kind of wish it was bigger. It were bigger. Maybe a third-party company can fix that. There's some silver paint on the spikes, and to store it, you can just fold it that way, and it'll store on his back, the same place where he stores it in beast mode. So not too bad. You can hold it on either hand, but if you want a tight grip on the hammer, you'll have to slide it all the way up to the middle. I kind of wish they made the end thicker so that he could swing. You could have him swinging the hammer, holding it at the end. It'll be like a longer hammer. Onto the figure itself, let me just start off with the negatives, what I did not like about the figure. This is a Studio Series figure, and as such, there are some expectation in terms of details and, you know, just appeal and aesthetic to it. I was kind of expecting a lot more from this figure, and one thing you will notice at first glance is the gray color. Plastic quality is absolutely amazing. There's no complaint from me. Very, very solid. You'll have some soft pieces here and there. I think this is for safety reasons. But overall, plastic quality is 10 times better than Battle Trap, or, you know. You look at the gray plastic, it looks more like a rock colored gray, the gray that they got from like a boulder or a rock or a granite, rather than the hide of an animal like a rhino or rhinoceros. So they could have added more paint. Maybe they could have added a little bit more panels to cover some bits here and there. But I'm going to chalk it up to lack of budget. That's the convenient excuse Hasbro designers always say, lack of budget. So they could only paint this much. And you know what? The small amount of the bronze paint doesn't bug me. I just wish they had more paint to make the gray look more like an animal hide. I don't know how they're going to fix that, but you get what I'm saying? It feels like it's a rock rather than animal hide. So that's why I've said earlier that it kind of feels like it's a Rock Lord. Also, you look at this head sculpt, it's still a goofy looking head sculpt. I mean, I honestly thought they would severely improve the mainline's head sculpt into making it more badass, making it more, you know, a little bit more edgy. But yeah, it's a little bit more serious, but it still looks like a Rock Lord. You expect a lot from a Studio Series figure, and somehow this figure is just lacking in that department, in the details and the aesthetic. Okay, so that's what I did not like. Now, what I did like about a figure, I love the sculpt. I love the proportions. I mean, lots of panels, lots of details. There's some gaps here and there, but this figure is actually a lot of fun. He's great to pose with. Now, let's talk about articulation. The neck has a ball joint. It's a little tight, so you'll have to get in there to pose it. There's a waist articulation. The shoulders can go in and out, forward and backward 360, and there's some articulation on the shoulder pads to allow that range of motion. It's got a bicep swivel, hinge elbow, swivel wrists. The hips, they are on hinges. You can do the splits with the legs, go forward and backward. You got thigh swivels, hinge knees. The feet can go up and down and have the rocker tilt. So you can still get him in some amazing, amazing poses. And, you know, he's actually very stable in these poses. Most of the time when he's doing these fighting stances, you don't even need a flight stand to get him there. The feet are sculpted so that despite being top heavy, the figure is very posable and you can have him stand freely without a flight stand. Now, on to transformation. What you do is you want to flip this out, tail section. Now, the hands are a little bit tricky. You want to rotate the hands 180 degrees, or the fists. And then you want to pop open right here. These love to pop off. A lot of the joints, a lot of the panels here and there, they love to pop off. That's fine. You want to rotate the wrist or to reveal the Rhino foot and close that back in. Do the same on the other side. Fold that and rotate. You want to rotate the feet this way, or the legs or the arms to form the Rhino front legs of the Rhino. Backpack, you want to unpeg right here, and it will reveal not the matrix, but the Rhino head. Fold down these horns. You want to pop open this part right here. That's the neck. Pop open top part of the head and reveal the Rhino horn. Okay, the mouth does open. Okay, and then this chest piece right here, it's going to untab, and then the ab pieces go out like this, and then that whole chest assembly folds down this way. The shoulders, they're going to tab inwards, and the best way I know to do it is you just put that tab in first, shoot that in, and then you can snap that hinge in. Put it in, and then snap that in. Ab pieces, they are going to tab onto this chest piece right here, and the chest piece is just going to tab like that. Now the Rhino head is going to cover the robot head and tab in this way. Back part is going to tab in that way. Now the legs, you can go ahead and just fold it down this way. Fold it down this way. Yep. Okay, there we go. You're going to bend the knees in the opposite direction. And these soft pieces, they're just going to stay right there. Same on the other side. Soft pieces are going to stay right there. And then the back of the thighs, they're going to tab onto this tail section, which is going to be lowered here. And then if you want, you can actually make the legs thicker this way by opening these panels. The crotch guard is going to stay right there. And the tail is going to fold this way. Essentially, that's it. That's Rhino mode. I kid you not. And yeah, like I said in the beginning, there's lack of budget. Half of the beast mode, look at this. It looks terrific. The front part looks massive and imposing, but then when you go to the back part, obviously, it's so obvious they ran out of budget. There should be panels here and there. There should be something to cover up that huge gap. Seriously, I mean, look at this. Which designer from Hasbro and Takara thought that this was acceptable? Really? I mean, come on. It's an incomplete hot mess, and I guess what they're trying to say is don't display him facing the rear end. And, you know, they're probably thinking, you know, collectors are not going to display Rhinox facing the other direction, right? They're going to display Rhinox this way, so we're just going to make this front part look pretty. The back part, I mean, who cares, right? If it's incomplete, they're still going to buy it. So that's kind of annoying. It's a Studio Series figure. This should not happen. This is unacceptable. Now the weapon, like I mentioned earlier, you can pop it over here. With all these gaps, you'd think that they'd find a way to just store the weapon somewhere, right? I don't know what gives, man. Also, the legs look kind of funny. This is the official transformation, but you can rotate it this way and have the foot facing that way. I think that's a better transformation, if you ask me. But this way, the official way, you can move the legs, you know, properly. With this transformation, you can't really move the legs. For comparison, in Beast mode, here are a couple of other Studio Series figures from Rise of the Beast. We've got Airazor in Beast mode, as well as Cheetor. Yeah, they're gonna look great on the shelf. And here he is with the mainline Voyager Rhinox, as well as the Battle Masters Rhinox. Obviously, this one is the best looking Rhino out of the lot. Obviously, he's more accurate. He looks more... Actually looks better. It's a better sculpt, obviously. But this guy's not looking too bad. I mean, compared to this guy. Obviously, he's still a brick, but he's actually a more solid Rhino mode, despite being blockish compared to this one. It's closed off very nicely to make a very, very solid Cybertronian rhinoceros. I mean, I honestly thought he would look so bad compared to this guy, but he's looking a lot more solid right now than the Studio Series. And so some final thoughts on the Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Rhinox. Well, it's definitely better than the mainline figure. I mean, it's a better representation, more movie accurate figure. And on paper, this figure should be a super amazing, excellent figure. But when you get him in hand, it just feels a little bit lackluster. I'm not complaining for complaining's sake. And I think a lot of it has to do with the plastic that they use. It's fantastic quality, but the color, it just somehow makes him look like a rock lord instead of having that grayish, you know, animal hide effect. In robot mode, I mean, the figure is fantastic. I had a lot of fun with it. Great articulation, posability, fantastic details. The head sculpt still kind of reminds me of a rock lord. The weapon could be bigger. Transformation was actually pretty good. It's somehow satisfying, involved, but not annoying. But when you get to the end product, half of it is a great looking Rhino, a Cybertronian Rhino, but the other half just seems to be, it just looks like an incomplete hot mess. I love to just praise this figure all throughout, but there's just so many things about it that you want to hate and you can't get past and you just can't ignore. So I'm actually in a conundrum right now. I don't know whether to say this is an amazing, great figure that you should go out and get and highly recommend it, or I should just say you should just wait for the third party and just pass up on this one. I feel with a little bit more budget, maybe had they made this into a leader class figure, it could have been a significantly better figure. We're gonna rate this one as, I'm gonna say an 8 out of 10. I mean, that's a decent grade. I mean, it's high enough so that you go out and purchase this figure at retail price, but there's enough room in that rating for significant improvement. Decent enough figure, but not blown away by it. I'm sorry. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this Transformers Studio Series from the movie Rise of the Beasts, Voyager class, Rhinox. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.